what's up? This is Coach Stokes, Stokes House Boxing Academy. You got to stay ready so you ain't worry about getting ready.
We live. What's up, everybody? This is Coach Stokes, and welcome to Staying Ready. You always got to stay ready so you ain't worry about getting ready, and we definitely are staying ready and getting ready with today's very special guest. Yesterday, I had the privilege of talking to a young man. I work with a lot of kids, and I talked to a young man who, as I always say, you know, he's one of my favorites coming out of amateurs. He's definitely my youngest son's favorite amateur boxer. Who am I talking about? I'm talking about Charles Lolo Harris. And today we're going to be talking to the man who's responsible for him being on this earth today, which is Lorenzo Harris. What's up, Big L? How you doing, baby?
All right. What's going on?
Man, I can't call it, man. What's the word down there, man? What's going on down there in your neck of the woods?
Oh, man, we're just training right now, man. You know, trying to get Lolo ready for this next fight coming up on the 30th of January. So, you know, I'm just trying to make sure I keep pushing him, man. Keep cracking the whip. Don't let him get comfortable. You know what I mean?
Definitely. Who where you fighting at?
We're fighting down in Mexico again.
Okay, you know who you fighting?
Nah, not yet.
Okay. Well, it really ain't gonna matter because whoever they put in there, I see him getting him out of there. I did watch all three of his fights, man, and spectacular, man. I mean, this kid, man, I was telling him yesterday, like, just for having three fights, man, you're very mature in the ring, man. You know what I'm saying? He's not going out like a lot of amateurs that transition. You have him groomed very well.
Thank you, man. Thank you. It's a team thing. You know, I got my boy Ian down there, too, at fights. You know what I'm saying? I can't take it all, you know. But, you know, Ian does his part with them. And, you know, I've always been doing my part, you know what I mean, with my son because that's, you know, that's my blood. But, you know, it's a team thing, too, you know.
No doubt. Hey, for my listeners here in Northern California, could you please let us know more about you, Big L? You know, how did you get involved in boxing?
Well, I used to box a little bit when I was in high school.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But I was more of a gym guy. You know what I mean? A young dude. I picked it up kind of late. You know, I love sparring, but I wasn't. You know, I didn't have a ride to the gym every day like that. You know, my peoples took me a couple times here and there, but you know, them being working house parents and everything, they didn't have the availability to be able to take me like that. Monday through Friday. So, you know, I picked it up a little late, you know, did some sparring and everything. And, you know, I done went my little way in the streets and everything after that, man. But that was pretty much my little sprinkle with it. I had a sprinkle with boxing, you know, I learned it, you know what I mean? I always felt like I was a pretty fast learner, you know what I mean? So I took the little stuff that I, you know, applied it to my son early.
So, you have more than one son. Lolo was telling me that he has two little brothers as well.
That box, yeah.
So you use boxing as a way of, because from what I remember and what I know, San Bernardino has always been rough, man. So is that a way of you encouraging them to definitely stay off the streets?
Definitely, man. You know, that, and I never wanted them to fear anybody, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I grew up, you know, and it was bullies around, you know what I mean? And you know, I only had two sisters. So, you know, my pops didn't really push me like that. He let me grow into who I was going to be, you know what I mean? And you know, you as a kid, if you witness fear, you know, like, you know, it's a terrible feeling. You know, you go home and you be mad if you didn't do nothing, or, you know, whatever. And whatever it may be, however it made you feel, it made me feel like I passed up on opportunities, you know what I mean? Probably because I was a little naive, a little timid, you know? Yeah. Never wanted to feel that, man. You know, so I'm like, man, my boys ain't finna be scared of nothing coming up, man. I'm gonna teach them how to fight, and, you know, and then we're gonna go ahead and make sure he can handle himself, you know?
I commend you for that, brother, man, because I know how it is, man. I'm originally from upstate New York, and bullies all over the place, man. And you already know, man, if you don't fend for yourself, the weak get eaten up.
Right.
And you being a dad, I know you was not going to have that. Not at all, man.
I know. And then that also that keeps him out of the street and hanging with these cats, you know what I mean? And getting involved with, you know, extra activity that you shouldn't be doing, you know. I always wanted them to stay up out of that path. So, you know, me taking him to the gym, I've been taking Lolo to the gym every day, Monday through Friday since he was 8, you know, the majority of the time, you know what I mean? And it's the sacrifice, man. But you know what? Like you said, if you see something in your kid and you know, which I did early, you know, and I started working with Lolo he was about 5 or 6 years old, you know, and I had him doing push-ups and combinations at that age. Just like a three piece, and you know, he used to dip, throw a 3-piece dip. You know, I had him doing the repetitions, you know. So by the time he was 8 years old, when he got in there sparring, he was already just doing it. It was just pop, 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 dip, pop, 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 dip. You know what I mean?
Natural.
So yeah, man. And so therefore, Lolo as a kid walked into boxing never taking ass whoopings. Excuse my language, but you know,
yeah.
you know, he never, you know, was on that end of the stick. Lolo would go to the corner at times, and I think guys used to think he's trapped, but Lolo was a type that never did this. He never balled up. You hear me? And you know, I think that's just like the heart. That was just who he was. Instead of balling up, he used to throw to get out. He used to throw to get out the corners. He would never ball up and do this. He's never did that, you know. So even till this day, even if you watch all his sparrings, you don't never just see Lolo just sitting there letting the guy throw on him, you know. He'll block it if he has to, but he'd rather throw with you than let you just throw, or he'd rather get out the way, you know, use his legs or whatnot, you know. But he's not a guy that just sits there and likes to feel a guy throwing at him, you know. So that's based on the temperature of your kid, you know what I mean? I think every person has a different temperature degree, you know, and I think Lolo's is very offensive, you know what I mean? He'd rather throw than let you throw at him, you know.
Yeah, you know what? Your school of thought and my school of thought is similar because, you know, I always tell my sons this: you never want to be the last one to throw a punch. You want to be first, or you want to be throwing the exact same time, because you and I both know the one that normally that throws off last, he's only going to get tagged. He's going to get caught.
Or he's waiting to get hit, right?
Waiting to get hit, brother. Waiting to get hit. I wanted to ask you this. There are a lot of coach dads that I'm seeing that came on the rise, man. I don't know if it's popular or what, but I see a lot of coaches and I see a lot of dads that are throwing their kids in there, and some know what they're doing, like yourself,
right,
and some don't know what the hell they're doing, brother.
Right.
And I look and I'm saying to myself, man, you're gonna get your son hurt. You're gonna get him hurt. And what I want to ask you was, you gave some very, very good knowledge when you were saying, you know, before Lolo got in there and sparred, this was a process. And a lot of people, and I tell a lot of cats this, man, this is nothing that, you know, I love Rocky and I love Creed, but it's a lot far-fetched because they only see the end result. They only see the hands raised, or they feel like they're going to climb up a mountain and they're going to be able to do this. No, man, they don't see the ass whoopings that these kids take. I'm not saying literally and figuratively, but they don't see, you know, the weight cut, the eating. They don't see none of that, man. It's a process. And if you are a boxing family like my family, everybody feels it, because when my sons is going through training, me and my wife eating right, it's a package deal. Can you expand on that, brother?
I definitely can't eat like Lolo, man. I mean, that's tough stuff right there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I wish I had that ability to do that, man. But you know what? You know, it was meant for him, you know, and that's his lane. You know what I mean? That's his lane. I just try to guide him, you know. I try to guide him, you know. One thing saying, you know, when you say that, you know, how I started my son, the repetitions, you know why? I look at it like this. I say, if I want my son to be in something and be great at something, I was going to start him early So by the time he stepped in it at the regular age, he was ahead of guys. He wasn't just learning like they were, you know? So those repetitions were because I wanted him to step in already feeling like he can fight, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So Lolo got his confidence, man, when I made him fight when he was that age, about 6 years old. And I seen him scared of a kid outside. I could see it. You know what I mean? You know, you could see your son if he's tiptoeing around another kid, you know? And the kid was a year older than my son. He was a grade higher, so you could see the size difference, you know? But I was already had him on these push-ups and throwing these combinations, and his hands were fast. His back was all cut up and everything. He was built strong, you know? So I had to tell him, I said, son, you know, you can handle that kid. I said, you just don't know it yet. You know,
Right.
and he smiled at me, you know. My son smiled, and you can see he believed it, you know. And me being the competitive dad that I am, you know, the next day, I was out there throwing the football with him and a kid that lived next door named Jamar, who was in North Carolina. And, you know, so I called Jamar over to me. I said, Jamar, hey, man, you know how to box? You know, and he was like, yeah. And I was like, you think you could beat Lolo up? And he looked at my son, right? And he said, him? He said, he's scared of me. So he knew that Lolo was afraid of him. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, do you want to box with him? And he said, yeah. And I looked at my son and I said, Lola, you want to box? And he said, yeah, right? So they were in my front yard. I had my hands in between them just like this, right? And I said, all right, you guys ready? You know, I looked at both of them. I said, on 3. 1, 2, 3. As soon as I let go, Lola was like a little pit bull, man. He came throwing them straight shots. It had been 2 seconds, the kid was down and his face was in the dirt, okay, literally. So the kid looked up from the ground. I had to pick him up, you know what I mean? I picked him up, scooped him up real quick because, you know, I ain't want their parents coming out looking at me crazy and whatnot. So I scooped him off the ground. And Lolo had ran up on the porch, you know, like he did something wrong, you know? And I said, Lolo, I said, come down here, man. I said, it's all right. I said, you did what you were supposed to do, you know? And if he wants to do it again, you go ahead and do it again. So I said, come here. I said, Jamar, you want to box with Lolo again? Jamar said, nope. He said, I want to wrestle him, you know? So I let him wrestle, you know, and I went ahead and, you know, and you know, they tussled and Jamar got on top for a minute, but he couldn't really do nothing with him, you know, because Lola was strong still, you know, even being on the bottom, he had him still, you know, and they stopped after that. But after that, Jamar, the roles switched every time they went outside. Jamar was tiptoeing around Lolo. Yeah, man, and Lolo seen that. He was never afraid of a guy again after that, man. That broke the cycle so early. I made him face the fear. Then he realized what his hands could do, you know, and you know, from there, ever since then, man, he you know, he's never been afraid. After that, I was taking him to around the apartment complex with the boxing gloves and seeing all the little knuckleheads running around and asked them if they wanted to get in the gloves with my son. And he was whooping cats. He was chasing guys around. You know what I mean? Ever since then, you know. So then we just took it to the gym, you know.
And then that's when it just took off from there because you know, he won numerous national titles, did very well, you know, made a name out of himself. And then when did you realize, you know, you had something? You always knew you had something special, but when did you realize, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and turn him pro and I'm gonna let him off the chain? When did you realize that? Was that when you took him to Vegas?
Yeah. That. Well, you know what? Really, no. Honestly, I didn't think that right there at that second, but yeah, pretty much after I was thinking about it. But you know, because the fight fell in my hand because a cat at the gym we were at, his son said that he no longer wanted to fight no more. And he was scheduled for a fight in Mexico. So they asked if we wanted to take that fight, you know. And I'm like, let's do it, And it was a too quick of a thing. I had to learn from the situation too, because at the time Lolo really wasn't sparring. He sparred Tank, and he really wasn't, in the gym sparring like that. That was the crazy part. He was in the gym, but he wasn't sparring like on a regular. So when we sparred, I was just frustrated because guys would flake out on Lolo sparring, and these were grown men, and so that's when I ran to Vegas, you know what I'm saying? And I said, to hell with this, we finna come get some Devin Haney work,
So yeah, I want you to take your time, brother, and paint a picture, because I love this story. I done seen it with Barbershop Conversations,
right.
and all, please take us back to, what exactly happened, because you went out to Vegas to get work with Devin Haney.
Exactly. I went out there looking for Devin, and not having no contacts. I look back at it now, it sounds kind of crazy, you know what I mean? But I just felt like my son is that one. And I felt like he could get in there with that type of work and do his thing. That's how I feel, you know what I mean?
Right.
Still feel like that, But so I felt like that, and I wanted to see it. So, I told one of my boys, you know what I'm saying, one of Lolo's partners, I told him, hey, man, what you think? Let's just rock. Let's slide. Let's just slide. And he said, I'll drive, And we hopped in the car, and I went out there, and I just slid straight to Vegas, man. And, we got a room, and then I started, I went down to a couple of gyms out there in Vegas. I didn't know where Devin Haney was, you know what I'm saying? I'm just, just a cat searching for it,
Right.
I put up to that gym where they be at, as a matter of fact. I said, well, we looking for Devin Haney for that work. And he's like, nah, Devin ain't here, man. And I'm like, where you training? They like, I don't know, and I'm like, you got any phone numbers? And so, they ended up getting me a phone number to another coach out there in Vegas, and so I called him, and I told him, I said, I'm looking for that Devin Haney work, man. Do you think you could link me up with that, or something, And he's like, let me make some phone calls for you. So he finally got in contact with Mickey Bay, and I called Mick. Well, no. Matter of fact, yeah, he called. He got back with me, and then he told me, I got the best sparring in Vegas. I said, yeah. I said, who was that? And he said, I got Gervonta Tank Davis. So, me, I'm, my ears, you know what I mean? My cheeks went from, you know what I mean? Like the Joker smile, man. I'm cheesing from so I'm like, for real? He like, yeah. You scheduled in there tomorrow at 5:00. So I'm like, all right, bet. You know what I mean? I'm pumped, man. I'm pumped. I'm so pumped up, man. I'm like, wow. So my son sees it on me, and I think he told me after, he said, I was thinking that you were going to say, I'm not ready for that, for Tank, sparring. But he said, I see how excited you were. So he said, I had to, you know what I mean, kind of rise myself and say, okay, Pops think I can do this, then let's do, So, at that time, then Mickey Bay calls me back. So I'm already plugged in with Tank, and Mickey calls me. And he's like, hey, man, I heard you were looking for Devin Haney work. I'm like, yeah. He's like, well, what is your son? Is he pro or is he amateur or what? So I said, he's amateur, still right now. But he's like, oh, well, my amateurs, aren't. I said, and I already knew what he was doing when he said my amateurs, aren't. When he said that, I kind of cut him off and just was like, yeah, but we got Tank work. He was like, what? You know, you could hear it in his voice. He said, your son's sparring Tank? He's how old? I said, he's 16. He said, he must be pretty good then. I said, yeah, I feel like he's pretty good, you know. He said, all right, well, and I'll holler at you tomorrow, man. Let me know how that goes. So I'm like, all right, cool. You know, so I hang up the phone, boom. You know, we back at the hotel, man, and you know, I pretty much, you know, we're pumped. I call my family, you know, like, hey, Lolo from the Spar Tank. You feel me? Well, I had my cousin, he slid straight down here, like, what? He's sparring him tomorrow. He said, so he bounced and he slid. He called his partner up. He came and, you know, so we had about 3 or 4 brothers with us, you know what I'm saying? And one of their kids, 2 of their kids, you know what I mean? So, you know, they pulled up the next day and, you know, I had me a couple shots of some Hennessy XO to loosen my chest, you know, because my pops was on me. He said, hey, man, you know, he kind of tried almost threw a seed of doubt to me. He said, hey, man, what if Tank really turns up? You know, I said, man, and Lolo's going to really turn up.
Mm-hmm.
You know? I mean, what you saying? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, Lolo turns up then, you know?
That's right.
You know, that's how I feel. I said, man, I believe in him, Dad. He could do this. You feel me? And, you know, I said, if Tank turns up, Lolo turns up. You know, because I know Lolo got that dog in him too, you know? So, you know, I told Pops just like that. We're going to do the damn thing. All right. So, boom. So I hang up with him, you know. You know, that's why I had to get the XO. I'm like, why you going to throw that in my head? You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, in my head right now, like, we already, you feel me, about to make this move. You know, so cousin, he loosened me up. We take about 3 shots of some XO. Man, I'm loose now. I'm like, all right, let's slide. Boom. As we're sliding into the parking lot, they calling us on the phone. They hitting us. Hey, man, where y'all at, man? I said, we right here. We in the parking lot. He like, all right, you know, some cat from the Vegas gym. Cat name was Thomas Hill or whatever. So I'm like, okay, boom, we here. So we slide in the door, man. First they stopped the little entourage. They like, hey, man, it's too many and all of that. And You know, my boys, they end up weaseling their way up in there. They like, nah, we here, man. You know what I'm saying? Let us up in here. You feel me? So they let them in. We go in there. As soon as I go in there, man, everybody's looking crazy. Cats is quiet. Everybody looking at us crazy. They looking at us like, you know, who is these cats? You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? I see Floyd Sr. We lock eyes, me and Floyd Sr. He looking at me like I'm a ghost. He looking like, bro, you gonna really, you know, I come up there, you know, I try to dap the cat that was next to me. He looked like he didn't want to dap me, you know what I mean? Looking, acting all funny. I'm like, okay, it's one of these days. Now, Floyd Sr., he dapped me, you feel me? You know, but I could see the way he was looking. He was almost looking at me like, you know, what are you finna do with that little dude? You know what I mean? I could see it on him. You know what I mean? And you know, I'm peeping that vibe and everything. And so you know, Thomas Hill, he over there telling us, "Oh, Tank's so explosive of a fighter," and you know, man, you guys are still amateurs, and you know, like you sure, like you're ready, like you know, Tank's really gonna be, you know, he's really gonna be coming. And I said, man, I told him, man, my son ought to fight. Let's, you know, it's fighting, man. Oh, I said, what are you, the pressure guy or something or what? You know, and he kind of shut up on that one. You know, he kind of backed off. You know, I'm like, yeah, man, leave us alone, nigga. I'm trying to pump that shit in my son's head. You know,
Facts.
I don't want to hear none of that soft guy talk. You know what I'm saying? You know, my son. You know, so. Okay, so we in there. I'm talking to my son. I'm like looking over at him. I know he feels the vibe. He sees everybody, you know. And I'm like, you know, fuck that. Tank puts his shoes on just like you, you know. So, you know, we looking around this other couple, 2 other sparring cats in there for him. We could tell. Okay, so Lolo tell me, he lean over to me like, hey, Dad, I'm I probably go last then. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yeah. Hey, me, I'm thinking too. Hey, yeah, you might as well go last. You feel me? Like shit, you know.
Yeah.
We don't know what's going on. You know what I'm saying? So whatever. So we're both in agreement with that. You know.
Mm-hmm.
So then here come Tank. He walk in. He come walk in and come look at us. You know, he doing them looks like he's trying to peek and then walk around, look at everybody and then, you know, try to peek at us again. And we're looking, you know what I mean? I'm looking at him. I'm like, this nigga's tiny. I'm looking at him like, you know what I mean? Like he's my middle son's height or some shit. You feel me? You know what I'm thinking in my head, and I see the way he's looking. You feel me? He's looking like, you know, and then he starts swinging his arms. You know what I mean? Like he got some easy work coming. I see the confidence in his little swing. You know, I don't know if he's trying to intimidate us with that little swing thing. You know, the swing motion. You know, I look at it and my son peeps it. So my son looks at it, right? And at that point, he told me, he said, when I seen him do all that, he said, I wanted to fight him now. I didn't want to wait. He said, I didn't want to wait. I wanted him now, you know. I seen that cockiness on him. And my son said, he's too short. There ain't no way you finna hurt me. That's just what he said to himself, I guess, in his head. You know what I mean? He's telling himself these, you know what I mean? So, you know, Tank run back to the back. He back there like he talking with Floyd. And, you know, Floyd comes out. And, you know, I can see the way they looking at us. Almost like they was back in the back corner talking shit or something. You know what I mean? You can feel the, you know what I mean? I know how niggas talk. You know, it was almost like, oh, that guy? You know what I mean? Like they out to check it out together. And, you know, I don't know how these niggas is, you know what I mean? But
they thought they was going to get fat. They thought they was going to get fat.
Yeah, but I'm just seeing the body language, and I mean it's obvious, you know what I mean? Like it's not like, you know what I mean? Like we can't tell what's going on right now, you know what I mean? You're looking like it's some food over here, but my son, you don't realize how game he is. You feel me? He's game. You know, he ain't finna tuck his tail. He's not built like that. You know, he's you know, I think the best when you're that type of player, like, you know, in sports, they rise when it comes to that stuff, you know. And my son was like, you know, so he pumped his, you know, he was pumped, like, you know, they looking at me like they think I'm some fool. You know, but he at the same time he just keeps his same demeanor, you know, because fighters, you know what they do, they know how to hide and control their emotion. You feel me? So he's controlled and he's taking that in, you know what I'm saying? As he, you know what I mean? And so, you know, that's when Floyd looked over at us, you know, and he's saying, you know, we need an orthodox fighter, you know, he's looking at us, you know what I mean? And, you know, I'm seeing the whole setup play. The other sparring partners is there and there. They way over there. Ain't nobody listening but us right here. You know what I mean? So I peep it. I'm like, yeah, my son, orthodox. You know, I don't give a fuck. You know, just tell him to put his shit on, get in the ring. You know, I'm like, okay, I guess this is Floyd's the way he talks shit. You know what I mean? That's his cocky way. Okay, I'm not used to it, but I'm like, okay, you know. So my son look at me and he's like, you know, whatever, you know, we put his gloves on. You know, before that, he was warming up. Lolo was warming up, you know. You know, I could see guys peeking over. I seen Floyd Sr. looking, you know, he's looking at the way he was moving and everything. And, you know, he says, you know, I could see him from across the room, the way he's looking, you know, that it's, that the kid got some skills, you know. So we put the gloves on right there. Tank's right there putting his little gloves on and whatnot, you know. And everybody's, you know, everybody's peeping. They looking. It's still quiet. Is a mug up in there. I'm telling you, you can hear everything. You can hear everybody breathing. You know, it's that type of quiet, silent air up in there. You know, and you know, so I'm looking. I'm like, wow, okay, let's see what this is, man. And you know, so they hop up in the ring, you know, and Floyd hops up in there with them, you know, and you know, they round one starts, you know, and Lolo get out there and, they start doing the little jab thing. You know, fighters do first. They get to testing that stick out, you know.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and Lolo's, at first you're throwing the air stick to see where you're at, but, in the second, Lolo kind of, let me get a little closer here and pop, you know what I mean? And slide that thing in there, which he did, you feel me? Slid that stick in there like, I got stick too, and Tank stick, Lolo said when he threw it, he said, that shit's so far away from me, you're not finna hit me with that little stick over there, it's too short. That's what he told me after. He said, when I seen him throw a jab, I was like, that's not finna, you know what I mean? He's like,
Mm-hmm.
and then, like I said, that first exchange was that, Tank trying to throw that left hand to the body while Lolo threw that check left hook, and when he threw that little check left hook at the same time as Tank going downstairs, they both kind of landed, but Lolo backed up as he threw the check left, you know what I mean? Because he got good breathing. I don't know, if Tank realized that, can you still see me?
I can. You back on.
Okay. So Lolo hits him with the check left hook at the same time, and Tank kind of boom, boom, and goes that way a little bit, you know what I mean? And, Lolo told me after, he said, when I hit him with that and I seen him go that way, he said, I was thinking in my head, damn, all that strength and conditioning y'all be doing, So that's how he's thinking. That's how my son's thinking. Boom, I hit you and you go that way. He's thinking, whoa, that look kind of easy. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So his confidence is like, oh, so they pretty much, when he did that, Tank jumped on the horse, you know what I mean? Started sliding around the ring, he want to go into the super defense and, and Floyd wants to cheer for him and put his little pom-poms up and start talking about nope, you know what I mean? And Lolo's just touching, you know what I mean? He ain't finna open it, you know what I'm saying? Because he's smart, he's, you know what I mean? He told me before it started, he said, Dad, Floyd told him to wait for me to throw all my punches so then he could come. I said, yeah, Floyd must think you're dumb. You know what I'm saying? But, let Floyd think what he wants over there. You know what I'm saying? Because we know how to go ahead and do our thing. You feel me? We're going to go at the pace he goes. I said, if he turns up, you turn up. If he goes head light, then you stay light with him.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what they was doing. They was going light, you know what I mean? A lot, them first round, but Lolo was still stalking him the whole time. You feel me?
Right.
Floyd's like, nope. And then Lolo catches him, bang. I'm like, that one got in there, though. You feel me? Everybody start laughing. You can hear the little chuckles in there, like, yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you ain't the only nigga that could talk in here, nigga, So, what I'm saying? I'm looking like, yeah, that got in there. So everybody like, you hear the little laughs and everything. Boom. So they still moving around, Tank's still sliding around, you can see he's looking for one punch, you know what I mean? Lolo's touching, you know what I mean? Got him in the corners, stalking him, you know what I mean? Not throwing 1,000 punches, but just where you at, seeing where you at, you know what I'm saying?
Those throwaway shots.
Right.
Yeah.
But at the same time, not being stupid. I'm not gonna just go in. Why? You know what I mean? He didn't do none of that, So, after the first round goes by, everybody scoot up, man, to the ring. That Lolo's definitely got their attention. You know what I'm saying? Cats move closer. Everything. They pull up like, let's see what this youngster can do, because we see the way he's standing in there and he's not getting hit with stuff. Maybe we had the little guy fucked up a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Maybe we thought different. Maybe we thought he was just a little typical little amateur guy. So everybody pulls up to the ring. You feel me? Floyd's still in there. Floyd, I remember some Floyd, Lolo had thing in the corner where I was at one time, and I start pointing like this. Me and Lolo got little codes. You feel me? I hit him like, go ahead and bang that body.
Right.
he's in the corner. You know, we're not headhunting. Go ahead, stick that thing in there. So Floyd hurries up and says, his coach is telling him to go to the body tank. His coach is going to tell him to go to the. I'm like, oh my gosh. That kind of had me like, oh wow. You're worried about the kid, man, going to the body. Like, I'm thinking in my head, like, wow, Floyd's really trying to coach against me. You know, this shit is pretty cool. You feel me? I'm like, I'm saying in my head, that's pretty tight. You worried about my son going to Tank's body? You know, Tank's like 25 years old.
Hey, Lorenzo. Hey, Calvin wasn't there? Calvin Ford wasn't there?
Nah, he wasn't there.
Okay.
Yeah. I wish you could have seen it, but, you know, he wasn't there, you know.
Yeah, it would have been beautiful if he would have been there, for real.
You know what I mean? You know, maybe different instructions. Maybe they could have coached together, you feel me? Because, you know what I mean? Maybe he could have told Tank something differently. I don't know, but Floyd, you know, what Floyd was saying, well, it wasn't, you know, wasn't nothing popping, you feel me? You know, so yeah, so they you know, they do say, so he says that, when he says that, Tank goes, oh, okay, you know, like, I got you, you know. he guards up, he gets up out of that corner, you know what I mean? He want to stay up in the corner or whatever. Yeah, don't just keep playing with my son over there because he's going to start trying to launch a little something, you know what I mean?
Right.
So, you know, so they boxing, though, but Lolo's still going at his pace, you know. Third round, it started getting spicy. Tank started trying to come, you know what I mean? I know he landed that straight left on Lolo, you know what I mean? And he sat down on it, you feel me? It was just caught Lolo sitting there looking with him, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Nothing, you just stop and you looking with a cat, and Tank got a nice little quick twitch, and he turned one off real hard, you know what I mean? Lolo's head didn't go nowhere, man. I swear, I said, God damn. I was looking at that, and everybody, you know, you're going to hear the ooh, like, you know what I mean? But his head didn't go nowhere. Lolo skipped up on him, shook his little foot out like he was pissing like a dog, you know what I mean? And I said, oh, look at this nigga. I said, that's my little nigga right there, boy.
Right.
Seen him take that shot and see, you're going to know, because you're going to know if you hurt, because you know Tank, if he catch you and hurts you, he going to jump on you, right? He must have seen Lolo was still just as tuned in, you know what I mean, as when he hit him right there. So I'm like, all I could see was the back of Lolo's head, you know what I mean? And you know, I could see everybody looking, but his head didn't boom. It was just boom, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You know, so Lolo, you know, shuffled up on him like, okay, let's go, you know what I mean? Tank got back on his bike, man. He got to running around and shit and doing all that, and running from post to post. I mean, you know, what are you getting out of this, nigga? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, you know, and what Lolo's thinking is, you know, that's one shot, you know what I mean? You know, and so Lolo had him up in the corner at times. You feel me? Tank tried to come out, Lolo catching him, you know what I mean, while he's coming out, you know, that type of shit, but keeping his distance at the same time. You know, had Tank in there smacking his lips, you know, getting mad, and doing all of that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, frustration, man, you feel me? You know.
Was Tank in shape? How big was Tank during that time? Was he big?
He was a little round, you know what I mean? But, you know, Tank looks the same to me all the time in them little videos, you know?
Yeah.
He's either got a little cushion around his belly, and that's, you know, like, you know, that he had already been sparring, I guess, you know? I mean, you're 25 years old, so shit, no type of shape you in. If you're a world champion at 25, you should be able to dog a 16-year-old, you know what I mean?
Yeah, because Lo ain't got his grown man strength yet.
His grown man strength. So what happens, you know, why don't you try to put that little, you know, so, you know, anyhow, the fourth round comes, man, and they you know, and Tank starts trying to come a little harder, you feel me, or whatever, and you know, he's trying to get close to him. I see him, you know what I mean, and you know, he throws that little Leo Santa Cruz uppercut, you know what I mean, and like, oh, you can see his legs come off the mat. Hey, Lolo looked at it. I said, Lolo told me, he said, I looked at that shit like, nope. And then they tried to throw a bolo hook. Whoop, Hadouken, you know. So Lolo said, I just slid right under that. Whoop, slid right out of there, right?
Right.
And Floyd got the audacity to say, don't run now. What? Nigga, what do you mean don't run? You, the Mr. Defensive all time, gonna say don't run when he's doing the same type of shit you do when cats are throwing bolos on you like Canelo, that you're just that's what Lolo's doing. You feel me? Like you're not hitting that. You know, he got good, you know what I mean? He's seen it, you know? So when he tells Lolo that, I know Lolo told me, he said, I thought when Floyd said that, now I'm gonna show him when I come to this middle of the ring, he said, I'm gonna show him that, you know, I can stay right here. And that's when he got to playing with Tank. And he didn't even have his both feet back. He had them sideways, and he just started bang, 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 bang. And he's smacking him. He's smacking Tank while his head Tank is just, you know what I mean? And he's playing with him. And I see Floyd in the background going like this with his head. Yeah, you quiet now. Now you're looking at the youngster play with your champion. You feel me? He's playing with them. You know what I'm saying? You know, and
was this the last round?
That was the last round.
Was this and I loved it because I'm gonna use this as well. But this when you told Lolo, you said, now drop your nuts and show him what you're about.
In that third round, the end of the third round, I told, you know, when he came to the corner, I told him that last round, I said, drop your nuts. You feel me? Drop your nuts, son. I said, you know, let him know what Lolo's about. You feel me? And he was like, you know, he shook his head at me, man. Lolo's a dog. Do you feel me? Lolo's a dog. You know, I mean, people can say what they want about him, but my son's a dog. He responds. You feel me? And to me, that responding, being in front of people, you sparring a world champion, you know what I'm saying? And everybody's huddled up around the ring, and Mayweather's right there at ringside trying to talk shit. You know, that's as real as it gets for a 16-year-old. You know what I mean? I thought, and when he, you know, like he did his thing at that end, and you know, and he came over there and put his shoulder around Tank. You feel me? Like that was a little bro. You know what I mean? And I thought that was tight. You know what I mean? I'm like, there you go, son. You's a cold nigga. You know, because how many 16-year-olds is gonna go do some shit like that? You know what I'm saying?
How did they look when he did that? Because I know they probably was bugging out like, yo, what is going on?
Oh my gosh, Lolo told me Tank was like, he said he was looking at him so crazy. He said, I almost started to tell him, what you looking at? Son's a nut though, man. He ain't no buster like that, bro. I'm telling you, he's a real dog. You know, he plays all that humble, but he's a dog. You know what I'm saying? He ain't with all that, you know what I mean? And Tank's a dog too. We understand that. But my son's a dog, man, at heart. He's a dog. So he thinks like a dog. You know what I mean? What are you looking at?
He built for this.
He's built for it, man.
Yeah.
When he put his arm around him, he looked at him, and you know, he said, I wanted to tell him what you looking at, you know? And then he said, you know, I just dapped his other hand like, you know, good work. You know, I didn't even wait for his dap.
So he actually was a big brother. He actually was a big brother in that moment.
Yeah, because, you know, Tank's still short. You feel me? He's, you know, he's still a small guy when it all boils down to it. You feel me? And, you know, so when he did all that, and he did that, and he dapped Floyd's corner, and he dapped, Tank's corner, he dapped Tank's manager or whatever over there, oh boy. Because he was he was another nigga that walked in there looking like he thought he had him one too. I was looking like, yeah, nigga, all right. You know, y'all thought y'all had one, nigga. This ain't no little punching bag over here, nigga. You're not, you know. So, yeah, he put it, you know, he dapped them all up, and then Tank said after Lolo was already over there getting his headgear taken off, Tank starts, let me get some more rounds. Like, you know, I want to go another round. I said, no, we had already said 4. You know, like you had all that time to do something with this kid. You want to run around the fucking ring, playing around and shit. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You want to defense. You don't want to engage like that with him. You know what I mean? That's your fault. But you want to go 10 rounds. You got other sparring partners here waiting, man. Come on, go get your work, buddy. You know what I mean? But he felt played. You could see it in his face. He felt played. You feel me? And, you know, for him to tell me, I don't know what you're smiling for, you know? And I'm thinking in my head, you know, he said he didn't do nothing. I said, well, you didn't do nothing, Nick. What did you do? What did you do?
He said that to you?
Yeah. He said, I don't know what you small for. He ain't do nothing. Nigga, because that's my son is what I told him. But
Word.
I'm thinking like, you didn't do nothing, nigga. What did you do? You the 25-year-old nigga. Why are you worried? You know what I mean? What was he supposed to do? Knock you out at 16? No, nigga, he did what he was supposed to do. He touched you. You feel me? And you're frustrated over there because he touched you more than you touched him. You feel me? And that's the truth. You feel me? And you know.
So, Lorenzo, so let me
Yeah.
ask you this. In the 4 rounds, how many punches would you say you think Tank probably landed?
Shit. I don't really remember Tank landing shit at 4th, really.
Wow.
Yeah, my son's a good boxer. You know what I mean? Like you said, man, he ain't not getting hit with them bolo punches. You know, you caught, like I said, that with that, he may have, if anything, 1, maybe 2. And, you know, if anything, and that probably was like a little body shot that he landed underneath when they just standing there. And Lola took that, not even move. Like it wasn't, that shit ain't hurting me. You know, that little straight left that he did, he finally would get in, got it in there once or twice, you feel me? And the shit didn't hurt him. You know, it was just like he was, you know, it was like hitting a little ironing board down there. You feel me? Because Lolo got smags too, so it was. It wasn't like he was hitting a breadbasket down there, you know, and thumping it like that. You know, just straight up. It, you know what I mean? When I seen it, and Lolo, I was thinking about that. You know what I mean? Before, like, what if he tries to? I know he's gonna be trying to break Lolo to the body if he can, but he couldn't. Here, and then when he did get there, it didn't do nothing to him. You know, he was in shape for it. I guess he was aware of it. You know, he was gauged for it, so it didn't hurt him. You know what I'm saying?
What did Floyd approach you guys at the end? Did he say anything to you guys?
Yeah, man. And you know, when Tank was going off like that, like he calmed him down, like, you know, relax, buddy. You know what I'm saying? I remember the guys got the best of me at times. He says that, you know what I mean? And I'm like, oh, that's a confirmation sticker. You feel me? I appreciated Floyd giving it up like that. You know what I'm saying? To me, I think he was trying to let us know that, like, I could be a little bit of a jerk, you know what I'm saying? I could talk shit like that, but it's all, you feel me? It's all in the sport. This is the game, you feel me? So he kind of gave back to us when he said that comment to me. You know what I mean? He was letting me know, like, yeah, your boy he's all right. You feel me? You know, and then
you had to speak his language. You know, coming from the streets, man, like, you can't come soft, because you come soft, they ain't gonna listen.
Right. For real. Yeah. And I just wasn't used to that. You feel me? You know, we out in Southern California. We're going mainly in a lot of Hispanic gyms, you know what I mean? And sparring guys, you know what I mean? Down in Indio and all that stuff, you know, Coachella and everything. So, you know, he really doesn't get that type of work like that with brothers like that. You know what I'm saying? Only time we fighting brothers was mainly out, you know, at these nationals, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, but yeah, that was that. And then when he got out the ring, he came and he dapped us. You feel me? And he dapped us. You know what I'm saying? And it was like, you know, boom. He didn't want to look at me, kind of like, you feel me? He didn't want to see that in my face, that I told you folks so face. You feel me? Like, y'all had one face. You feel me? Because you know how. Like that grin you know that grin couldn't come up off my face after the sparring, you know what I mean? So was a proud father, you know what I'm saying? I mean, everybody dapping my son up in there, you know what I'm saying, except for Tank and his little crew up there looking down at us, but they was nodding their heads too, you feel me? Like, yeah, I know they was thinking, yeah, you got your little something right there, like, you know, for real. You know, I mean, even his homies, they had been looking like that, man. They wasn't looking like he just beat Lolo ass. They wasn't looking like that. They know everybody how people was looking at him. The kid, you feel me? The kid did his thing. You feel me? And Floyd said, you know, he could make, you know, Lolo world champion by the time he's 18 if he was with him and all of that, you know.
Oh, he wanted to sign him. He wanted to sign him.
He said it, but, you know, that all that shit be talk, you know what I mean, to us, you feel me? Like, you know, if you don't act on it, it's talk, you know, that's cool. you know, and but at the same time, it is what it is. We're not trying to rush to it. You know what I mean? We want to take our time with Lolo, man. If you got something special, you got to take your time with it. You know what I mean? And bring it up the right way. You know what I mean? And let him grow into start touching his man strength. He's still, you know what I mean? Still on that teenage strength right now. But you gotta keep him in a position to where he can grow still in the ring without being in dog fights right now. That's what the Nationals was for. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Getting for all them amateur wars out at these Nationals was preparing for you to be able to take your time in the pros. You know what I'm saying? You got enough skill to be able to, I should be able to pop bong and then just make my move and go. You know what I mean? I don't gotta just keep boxing and throwing with the guy. You know what I mean? You could get your go. You know what I mean? So we it molded them for it.
Big bro, I really appreciate that. Before we conclude, man, I like to do something I do with everybody. I did with Lolo, so I like to hear your answers. I call it going 12 rounds, and I'm gonna ask you a little bit about boxing, about worldly things. Man, I don't know what the fuck. It's gonna be whatever, man. So I'm just want to know, are you ready?
Let's do it.
Ding, ding. First question, round number 1. If you could bring any one of these people back from the dead, who would it be? Malcolm X, Huey P. Newton, or MLK?
I'm bringing King back, Martin Luther King, brother. You know what I mean? We still Christian right here, so
Okay. You riding on the bus, going down a steep hill on an icy road. Where you sitting on the bus? The front, middle, or back, and why?
I'm sitting in the front. I want to see it. I want to see it happen. Whatever's going to happen, I want to see it happen before it happens.
Okay. Round number 3. Snoop Dogg or Ice Cube? Who you picking?
I got Snoop. You know what I'm saying? LBC.
Okay. All right. You were fighting on primetime television. What music artists do you have accompany you guys to the ring?
I'm gonna say Compton TG. You know, the brother from down south out here. You feel me, Compton Cat?
I know who Compton ass TG is. I know who he is.
I'll ride with something gangster. You know what I'm saying? Because we Cali. You know.
He hard. What about round number 5. In your pound for pound list, who are your top 3 fighters in your pound for pound list?
I got Bud. I got Spence. And I got right now. We talking about right now that's in the game?
Right now that's in the game.
I guess Bud, Spence, Canelo.
Okay, so I'm gonna do something different now. Top 3 of all time, in your opinion. It can be old or new.
Sugar Ray Leonard.
Mm-hmm.
I got Floyd in the top. Sugar Ray, Floyd, and I go Ali.
Okay. Movie. Which one are you watching? The Mac or Black Caesar?
The Mac. For sure, the Mac. Yeah, came
Without a
up.
doubt.
Yep.
All right. Who you picking in this one? Kawhi or LeBron?
LeBron.
Yeah.
Lake E.
Okay. Spence or Crawford if they fight?
Crawford.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay. Comedians. If they going at it right now, who do you think will win? Cat Williams or Mike Epps?
I got Mike Epps.
Okay. Who you got in your playlist right now? Who you listening to right now?
Right now?
Right now.
I've been listening to that Pop Smoke song. That shit been, I don't know, it's been kind of touching me lately. You know?
Okay.
that for the night. What's that one called? Yeah.
R.I.P. Pop. R.I.P.
R.I.P. Pop. Yeah.
If you could coach against any one of these great legends, who would it be? Emmanuel Stewart, Eddie Futch, Nazim Richardson, or Freddie Roach?
Oh, Emmanuel. That's the dude. Mr. Offensive.
Yeah,
For sure.
yeah. And the last question is, when you leave this earth and people talk about you, what would they say about Lorenzo Harris?
He was a good father. Good dad.
No doubt, no doubt. Hey, Lorenzo, man, I really appreciate this. I you know what I'm saying? I mean this, bro. I really appreciate this. I appreciate your time. I'm digging what you're doing. And I totally support you and your family, man. You know what I'm saying? Yo, me and my family, hopefully when this pandemic is over with, we can get down to Southern Cal, man, and we can come check your gym out. Lolo already done offered, he said you can come down to our gym anytime, man, when you want to. But not only that though, man, I want to go out and I want to get dinner with my family and your family if we can do that, brother.
Sir, it's all good, man. Appreciate you having me, man.
No doubt. Before we get off, could you let everybody know how they can contact you? If you have any social media handles or, email or, whatever the case may be?
My email is ruffinharris@gmail.com.
Okay.
I ain't got no social media. Everything else is through Lolo. Holla at Lolo the fighter.
Okay.
So,
Okay. Everybody, you heard that. If you want to get in contact with him, definitely contact his son, Lolo. I believe it was Lolo the coldest. I got on about that too. I said, "What you know about that, man?" I was like, "That's me and your pops era for real. That's a dope name, man." I saw that on his trunk, but I definitely reach out to him. I salute you, brother. Keep doing what you're doing, man. And keep being a role model, man, for these young kids and fathers like myself who are coaches and dads, to their sons. But hey, this is Coach Stokes, staying ready. You got to stay ready so you ain't worried about getting ready. And I'm going to catch you next time. We out.